Yo guys, welcome back to another video. I know this is sort of a weird angle, but this is a type of video I haven't done before. As you guys can see by the title, I'm going to be unhauling a lot of books. Just some stuff that I'm probably never going to read, if I'm being completely honest with myself. I have some kids books in here from when I was younger that if I ever wanted to read them again, or have my future kids read, I would just get nicer copies of. I don't really need to hold on to a lot of this stuff, and especially I'm moving here very soon at the end of the month, so having to pack stuff and all that, it's just not worth taking with me. So I figured, you know what, I could either donate them to a used bookstore, or even better, earlier I was reminded of there's like a little outdoor library box in my neighborhood, and I figured I could drop them off in there because I looked through the selection and it was some hot ass. So I figured I could put some peek on the locals, give them some fire, mostly I'd say just some cool stuff, but yeah, just stuff I don't want to hold on to. So I'm going to be going through here today, showing you guys all that stuff, and yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so going through here, I have a lot of books to get through here. So I guess the first thing I'm going to start off with, Percy Jackson. Love these books, they're great. I just don't ever plan on really rereading them, just cause they're meant for younger kids. The only time that I think that I'll ever reread these in my life is if I ever have kids. I would love to reread them with my kids, but at that point I can get better copies, get some hardcovers or something nice. I'm sure I'll be able to find copies at a used bookstore in 10 years, 15 years, whatever. Yeah, it's just not worth holding on to at the moment. So I have all 5 books of the Percy Jackson series, and with that, I also have the Heroes of Olympus. Similarly, it's just the sequel to it. Don't really plan on rereading those anytime soon either. So yeah, that is books 1 through 5 of the Heroes of Olympus as well. And if you see me reaching over off screen, I have this big cardboard box that I'm going to put in the truck, and we'll drive over to the little library and take these over here in a little bit. But yeah, just putting them away here. In a similar vein to that, I also have my copies of Harry Potter. Again, don't really care to hold on to these. I'm sort of over the whole Harry Potter thing and have been for a very long time. I used to be obsessed with it when I was in middle school, but now, if I'm honest, I can't really stand Harry Potter. I think it's, one of the most annoying things ever. I like the books and all that, but I cringe a little every time I see like Harry Potter memorabilia and like t-shirts and stuff. And my mom has the Harry Potter theme song as her ringtone, and every time I hear it, I get a headache. Like, I don't know what it is. I guess because I see it so much, it's such a huge pop culture thing. I don't know. But I cringe every time I see Harry Potter a little bit. Not that I dislike the books or anything, but I don't know what it is. I'm just completely over the whole Harry Potter thing. So yeah, books 1 through 7 are getting dumped. Now moving on, something a little bit more controversial. I have these copies here. Wheel of Time. I got these used anyway. They were only a few bucks each. If I'm being completely honest with myself, I don't ever plan on reading Wheel of Time. Especially because, as is, I'm already cutting back on my reading just because, lack of time. I only plan on probably reading maybe, at the very most, probably 20 books a year. Moving forward, anywhere between 15 and 20 books. I just don't have any intention of reading the Wheel of Time. And I figured, these copies were used anyway. They were only like $3 that I got them for, so they're not really going to be missed too much. But I know somebody out there, Wheel of Time is very popular. And if this gets some people into, like some teenagers or adults into fantasy, you know, that's awesome. So I figured I would put those in there. Yeah, nothing against the Wheel of Time. It's just really long, and there's large portions of the series that I hear aren't great. And I don't really, there's so many other things that I want to read, and I don't really feel like spending all my time on that series ever. So there's that. And then I also have this one hardcover copy of Wheel of Time. I think it's like book 9. Yeah, there's no point in holding on to this. And I got this at Goodwill over the summer. So yeah, it was like $1. I don't really care. So moving on, I do have an awesome book here, and that is The Pale Horseman by Bernard Cornwell, which is my favorite book of all time. I already own a copy of this. In fact, we have 3 copies of it in the household. My copy, my dad has a copy that I gave him, and then this one, this I kept it because it's an art copy, and it was from the early 2000s, so I thought it was kind of interesting. But there's no point in having 3 copies of the same book in the household, especially it being a paperback. Yeah, no intent on keeping this. It would just be pointless. But this is my favorite book in the series, and this was also the first book my dad read in the series. This is the second book, and he read this book first, before the first book even, and really enjoyed it. So, I mean, if anybody at the little library thing maybe checks this out, you know, they'll probably still like it. So, yeah, had to put some peak on the people. Next things, just a few things here. I got Final Assembly by Dennis Myers. This was sent to me by the author. Really appreciate it. This was one of the first authors sent me a book things I ever got. The sad thing is I didn't really care for this book. I didn't really like it, if I'm honest. And I made a review on it. I low-key bashed it a little. I didn't mean to. I was just being, I guess, brutally honest. Didn't really like the book and the direction that the story went, or, you know, many of the characters. Many of the characters were kind of annoying. It's neither here nor there. Point is, I didn't really care for the book, and yeah, it's not doing anything for me, just sitting in a box. So I figured, you know what, this is a low-key book, you know, an independent sort of author. I figured if somebody else were to pick this up and enjoy it more than I did, maybe even, you know, if they do Goodreads or whatever, they can find this book and read it and be like, wow, this was a gem, you know, a hidden gem, and give it a good review. So if I can, you know, have other people read it and enjoy it more than I did, I figured that'd be a good thing. So yeah, it's not doing much sitting here with me, so I'm gonna put this out there as well. And again, I did not mean any offense to that author by, you know, my original review, not to him personally, just didn't like the book, and I don't mean any additional offense by, you know, putting it, getting rid of it. I want people other than myself to enjoy it. The next couple of things are just kind of random. The Once and Future King, this is a classic. I just don't really plan on reading it anytime soon, and if I do, I'll get a more recent copy, I guess. I just don't really plan on reading it anytime soon. Similarly, I just have this copy, Little Mass Market, of Alice in Wonderland. I don't really care to read this, so yeah, I'm gonna put that in here. The Pagan Knight by Tim Akers. This is like a Viking fantasy kind of deal. I picked this up just on a whim because it was in a bargain bin at work. Don't really care to read it, if I'm being honest. I thought it looked interesting, and it was like $2 or some shit when I picked it up. But yeah, not worth holding on to, if I'm honest. Maybe I'll read some of this stuff someday, but again, like I said, the way that I'm cutting down on my reading a little bit, just because I have other stuff going on, I have way higher priorities, and I haven't really heard much about that book at all, so yeah, just not really interested right now. And lastly, this is the last thing I have set aside at the moment. That's Kings of the Wild. This one I had really wanted to read for a while. I really liked the cover of it, but once again, just really lost interest in the book, so I never got around to reading it. So it is what it is, but maybe someday I'll go back to it. Maybe I'll get it on digital. I'm really thinking about starting to read digitally. That's something I famously never do. Like, for as long as I've had my channel, or even my other channel, I always preach physical reading, physical media. But I'm really starting to reconsider with how expensive things are, and I'm an adult now, and other expenses, so maybe I'll invest in a Kindle and read stuff digitally sometimes, and then just buy the books that I end up really liking. I do believe in having a more curated library. I understand that now, not just filling up your shelves with stuff that you're either never going to read or you're so on. So yeah, I can see that now. So maybe someday I'll still read it digitally, but yeah, I don't really care to have this right now. And yeah, guys, that's going to be about it. I do have this box full of books here. Yeah, like I said, I've said it over and over again. Don't really plan on reading these again if I've already read them. Or if I haven't, maybe someday I'll read it if I catch a wind of interest. I'll get it digitally or something. But yeah, taking up room on my shelves. That's another thing, is not even just the me moving aspect, also space. Like, I have a big library at this point. I buy a lot of books. I have a lot of books and comics and manga, and only limited amount of space. So I fill my shelves with shit that I'm never going to read or I'm not interested in. So that's sort of where I'm at right now, and I hope that these books find good use. So I'm going to go take these over, and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so I'm in the truck, packed up the books here, and let's go over to the little library thing, and let's put these books in there. Alright guys, I went and I dumped the books. I say dumped, I carefully placed them and made it look somewhat presentable in the little library thing. I would have filmed more, and I had planned on filming more, but it was kind of in a weird spot now that I went over there and actually looked at it. It was like low-key in someone's front yard. Not exactly, but like, I don't know, it was kind of fishy, and if I was like recording, it would have been kind of weird. I wouldn't have been comfortable with that. But if you guys do want to go check it out, maybe get some of those books for yourself. Sadly, you do have to be related to the U.S. military. I do live in Mayport, over in Jacksonville, Florida, Mayport. So if you guys do want to check it out, and you guys are in the area and are able to get on base, it's over on Everglades Street. If you want to check out the little library there, if you guys are, in the military or are, dependents or whatever, you can go check it out. It's over there, Everglades Street on Mayport. Yeah, dumped it off. I don't know the exact number of books. I'll probably try to count it up in my head and throw it up here on screen. But yeah, put some bangers in there and definitely downsize a little bit. So hopefully we have some more room on the shelves to put some even cooler stuff in later on down the road. But anyways, guys, that's about it for today. Just wanted to film this since these kind of videos do pretty well, I guess. People like to see unhauls. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.